The massive multi-billion-dollar self-help industry has been selling us a story for years. Every day, flashy gurus tell us we just need to find our passion, right? We're told that if we just dig deep enough and find that burning feeling, we'll finally achieve our wildest dreams. But what if the very tool they're handing you is completely wrong for the job? What if the highest performers in the world, the elite athletes, the top CEOs, the master creatives, are actually operating on a completely different system? Today, we're decoding the unspoken engine of high achievement, and I'm going to show you exactly how to build it from scratch, even if you feel like you failed at it every single time before.
Motivation is a complete lie. I know, that sounds incredibly bold, but really think about it for a second. Motivation is nothing more than a feeling, and just like happiness, sadness, or frustration, feelings come and go. You literally cannot rely on a fleeting emotion to carry you through months or even years of hard work. What high performers actually run on has absolutely nothing to do with how they feel in any given moment. They rely entirely on self-discipline.
Section 1. The discipline myth. Society has somehow convinced us that discipline is a personality trait. We look at someone who wakes up at 5 a.m. to run and we just think, well, they were just born with it. They have that gene and I don't. But we need to completely shatter that myth right now. You are not born with discipline. It's a highly trainable skill. For decades, we've all heard that old, recycled myth that it takes exactly 21 days to form a new habit. Well, researchers at University College London looked at the actual science of behavioral change, and they found a very different reality. It actually takes an average of 66 days to form a new habit. Now, at first glance, that might sound a little discouraging, but it's actually incredible news. It mathematically proves that discipline is accessible to absolutely anyone. It just takes a bit longer than a flashy 3-minute motivational clip might lead you to believe.
Think of discipline like a muscle. If you walk into your local gym and you haven't lifted a weight in 5 years, you're obviously not going to sit down and bench press 200 pounds. Your muscles are weak from a lack of use. Well, discipline is exactly the same way. When you don't use it, it atrophies. But when you train it consistently, even in the smallest possible ways, it gets stronger. Every single time you follow through and do what you said you would do, especially on the days you absolutely do not feel like it, you are putting a rep in at the gym. And those reps compound massively over time. Section 2. Designing choice architecture. Here is where we uncover a massive psychological breakthrough. Most people get discipline completely wrong because they think it's all about gritting your teeth and white-knuckling your way through intense resistance. It's really not. The most disciplined people in the world actually don't rely on willpower. Instead, they rely on what behavioral psychologists call choice architecture. That's the act of designing your environment so that the right choice is naturally the easiest choice to make. You don't need superhuman willpower if you proactively remove the exhausting decisions that drain your energy in the first place. You see, discipline breaks down at the exact point of decision. So the master strategy here is to radically reduce the number of decisions you ever have to make.
Let's say your goal is to work out every morning. You don't wake up at 6 a.m., stare at the ceiling, and decide if you're going to the gym. No. You put your sneakers right next to your bed the night before. The decision was already made. You just step into the shoes. And if you want to eat better, you don't sit on the couch staring at a pantry full of chips trying to resist temptation. You remove the junk food from the house entirely. You engineer your environment to protect your goals.
Section 3. The 2-minute rule. So there's this unbelievably simple tool designed to completely bypass your brain's natural, stubborn resistance to doing hard things. It's called the 2-minute rule. The core idea is that if a task takes less than 2 minutes, you just do it immediately. Don't schedule it, don't overthink it, just execute. Replying to a quick email, putting away your coffee mug, making your bed. Doing these tiny actions trains your brain to become an executor instead of a delayer. But there is a deeper, more profound version of this rule for your big, intimidating goals. You just commit to starting the task for exactly 2 minutes. If you want to write a book, open the document and write for 2 minutes. If you want to work out, step 1, put on your shoes. Step 2, do 5 push-ups. That's it. The goal isn't to finish a massive, grueling workout. The goal is literally just to start.
Because starting is always the hardest part. The sheer friction of going from resting to working is exactly where most people quit. But the 2-minute rule removes that barrier entirely. Because once you actually start, a fascinating psychological shift happens. Momentum takes over. Once you're already wearing your gym shoes and you've banged out 5 push-ups, you are highly likely to just keep going.
Section 4. Identity over goals. We are taught our entire lives to be goal-oriented, but truly disciplined people, they build identities. And that one distinction changes absolutely everything about how you operate on a daily basis. When your only focus is a standard goal like lose 20 pounds, discipline feels like a massive sacrifice.
Every workout is a miserable chore. Every healthy meal feels like a punishment, keeping you from what you really want. But when you shift your mindset to, I am someone who takes care of their body, those exact same actions suddenly feel completely different. They feel consistent with who you genuinely are. You're no longer forcing yourself. You're simply acting in complete alignment with your identity. This is known in behavioral psychology as identity-based habit formation, and it's one of the most heavily research-backed concepts out there. You have to ask yourself, who is the person you want to become? And then you simply make the choices that that specific person would make, starting today. Not next month, not after you hit some magic number on the scale, right now. Every single small choice that aligns with that identity is literally casting a vote for the person you are becoming. Cast enough of those votes, and eventually the identity sticks.
Section 5. The Rule of Recovery.
Okay, let's get incredibly real for a moment. Here is the unspoken truth about self-discipline that nobody likes to admit. Absolutely everyone breaks it. Everyone skips a day at the gym. Everyone eats the thing they swore they weren't going to eat. The difference between highly disciplined people and everyone else is not that they possess flawless perfection. The difference is entirely in how incredibly fast they recover from a slip-up. Behavioral science actually has a term for why we spiral out of control when we fail. It's called the abstinence violation effect. Have you ever missed a single workout and suddenly told yourself, well, I've already blown it for the week, so what's the point? And suddenly one missed workout snowballs into missing 2 weeks or even an entire month. That is the abstinence violation effect in action. It's the psychological trap of demanding absolute perfection and then burning the whole house down when you make one small mistake.
To combat this, we have a rule of grace, and it's honestly the single most important safety net for your discipline. The rule is simply, never miss twice. One missed day is just a blip on the radar. 2 missed days? That's the beginning of a brand new, negative pattern. If you skip the gym on Monday because life just got chaotic, you go on Tuesday, no matter what. You have to protect the streak, but more importantly, you have to protect your identity. Missing once just makes you human, but missing twice makes it a habit. Remember, the goal is never perfection, it's consistency over time.
So I want to pause right here and ask you directly, who is the person you want to become? Don't obsess over building a perfect routine today. Think deeply about that future identity. Because the person you want to become isn't created overnight in some massive burst of motivation. They are built slowly, deliberately, one single decision at a time. Let's quickly recap the powerful toolkit we've put together in this. First, discipline isn't motivation. It's a skill you have to build rep by rep. Second, design your choice architecture so the right decision is automatic. Third, use the 2-minute rule to effortlessly break through that initial resistance. Fourth, focus on building an identity, not just chasing a goal. And finally, when you inevitably slip up, apply the rule of recovery. Never miss twice. You do not need to completely overhaul your entire life by tomorrow morning. You don't need endless, fleeting motivation. You just need to make one better choice today than you made yesterday. Because ultimately, your life is not defined by the grand, sweeping resolutions you make on January 1st. It's defined by the quiet, disciplined choices you make on a random Tuesday when nobody is watching. The architecture is in place. The 2-minute clock is ticking. So who will you choose to become today? Thank you for watching this, and we'll see you next time.